Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing amazing. Here we are, January 3rd. And below that music, God only knows. Hey, all right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Let's put this back so I can hear the external sounds. Hey, great question for you. Are you focused? Here it is, January 3rd. How many of you have decided to do something on the 31st that maybe you might have? There's a chance that you haven't followed through. And here it is on the 3rd. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. Hey, listen, you may want to share this out. Allow people to see the leverage you have with your community. And today's going to be a good conversation on focus. So there's 6 big reasons why you want to focus. There's 6 big reasons why people fall short of keeping their goals. And I'm going to give you 6 reasons. They're not the ultimate, they're not the only, but they're pretty big ones, right? If you've studied anything by Napoleon Hill or any goal setting seminars or training. So we're just going to talk about that. Happy Data 3. Good morning, sir. How are you? I don't know if I told you. I think I told you that Trish at the Self-Talk Institute, her and I were chatting about you a couple of weeks back. So here we go. Number one reason people fall short. Number one reason people start to lose focus on their goals is because they don't set a specific, achievable date. I want to make $1 million by the end of January. I want to make $1 million by the end of December. Could be. Have you ever done it before? See, part of this is, have you at least done half? Have you at least done half so that you can get the ball rolling? See, if there's things that you haven't done even half of, this is just my formula. I don't know that anybody's ever spoken it. My formula is that if I want to go for $500,000 in a month, did I make $250,000 in a month? Because if I don't, I'm walking into such confusion and delusion. And that's the biggest challenge with mental toughness, is delusional thinking. So many people have such delusional thinking, they don't have critical thinking. So it creates a challenge, it creates a problem, and it creates confusion inside of your environment. So let me just make a couple of people here real quick co-hosts so that I can stay focused on what I'm doing. So I got to ask you a question. Have you stumbled yet on your goals? That's my question. Have you stumbled yet? Have you stumbled a little bit on your goals yet? Because if you have, well, that's normal. That's normal. It's not going to be successful, but it's normal. So number one, set a specific goal, have well-defined goals. Do you have them written out? I know we talk about that all the time. I know we go to seminars and trainings all the time. Do you have them written out? I'm not talking about your definite major purpose. I'm just, on or before December 31st, I plan to be 210 pounds. I don't know. What is your goal? And then can you break it down? Can you chunk it, right? How many of you have heard the phrase chunk it? I don't know. Because that's number 2. Break it down into smaller tasks. We overestimate what we can do in a year. We underestimate what we can do in a decade. The challenge is that we have such a fast-paced society of now and now and now and now and now and now and now. And this thing is beeping at you. Nir Ayal, who wrote the book Hooked, big yellow book, right? Yellow cover, Hooked. How we get triggered at a subconscious level. Do you realize that a polecat is a turkey's worst enemy, a chicken's worst enemy, a polecat? And a polecat has a certain sound. And when a mother hears a polecat, when a mother chicken, when a hen hears the sound of a polecat, she will do everything to protect her baby. But when you wrap the sound, the recording of a polecat, in what looks like a little chickadee, she takes care of it. Against all of her internal wiring, against all of this genealogy programming, the thing that looks like her baby chicken wrapped around the sound of a recording of a polecat, she will still nurture it. So there's phenomenons in psychology. Why do I say that? Because some of your pain, scrolling, is wrapped in this dopamine molecule of instant gratification that you don't stay focused. How many of you know, listen, I'm not going to ask you, how many of you know people, listen carefully, how many of you know people, not you, because it doesn't bother you, how many of you know other people that complain about scrolling? Drop an S in the chat if you know other people who complain about scrolling and how it disrupts their life. I won't go as far as to say destroys their life, but I will say disrupts their life. Drop an S in the chat if you know somebody who complains about scrolling. That's a polecat wrapped up in your dopamine molecule. That's called an addiction. Just saying. Just saying. That's called an addiction. So number one thing to get focused back, to get refocused, to get rescheduled is one, create a specific and achievable goal. Number two, chunk them down, break them down into smaller tasks. Takes one of those big goals and break it down. How many weeks between now and when you have your specific achievable goal date? How many weeks do you have? Give yourself a target task for each week. Well, Sean, that's the end of the year. That's 52 weeks. It'd be a good day to start then. Today be a good day to start on that weekly task model. That makes sense? Which flows right into number three, establish a daily routine. See, I'm putting together, it'll probably start maybe a week from now. I have a 365-day plan. 365-day plan for becoming conscious, for becoming awakening, for being able to access your subconscious, for being able to control your wants, your desires, your needs, your wishes, your cravings. 365 days already lined out. Already lined out. Just figuring which platforms I'm going to put it out on. I've got all the content. That wasn't that difficult. It was a little difficult. Every month has a theme, every week has a theme, and every day has a theme based on that week. Do you have your success lined out in such form and such what's the word I'm looking for? Determination and in description? So establish your daily routine. It can help you stay focused. I'm just reading my notes over here because there's a lot going on in the squirrel brain. Here's the hard one. Here's the hard one. Here's why you need a mentor. This fourth one, you're going to need to find a mentor because they can't do it for you, but you will give them permission to allow yourself to do it. And here it is. Remove distraction. It can be hard to be focused. If you've got a lot of distractions, consider removing distractions such as social media, emails while you work on your goals. Darren Hardy talks about it. The 90-minute window. Can you give yourself 90 minutes? Darren Hardy, amazing, wildly successful individual. When you sit down at your desk and you begin to write, how many notifications? So just type in the chat, in any of the chats on any of the platforms, YouTube, VIP. Let me move my chat box over here so I can see it. Social media on Instagram. How many distractions, how many pings, dings, or flash-ins have you already had? Just take a guess. Just take a guess. How many distractions have you already had? If you had to type in a number, how many emails popped up? How many flash-ins on your screen? How many things that? So let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? If you've had a distraction, listen carefully. If you've had a distraction, one distraction, while you're in deep work, listen carefully. I'm giving you a clue that, man, it's worth millions. I promise you it's worth millions. Listen carefully. If you've had one distraction from your deep work, you were writing out your definite major purpose, you were doing your gratitude. Science says, this isn't Sean Murphy's pulling something out of my nether regions. Science says it takes about anywhere from 18 to 25 minutes to get back on track. So I'm going to go a little off topic here for just a second, but I want you to pay attention. Every time you get a distraction, pulls you back in. It doesn't allow your subconscious to be activated. You're doing what Cal Newport in his book called Deep Work. You're doing what he calls shallow work. And if you look at how long would your income last right now? Oh, this is good. I haven't done this training. This is new. This is on the spot, live, being developed right in front of you. The reason we do shallow work is because our income is shallow. When you do deep work, your income has a tendency to last longer, to follow you longer after you're done working. See, if I throw a big rock into the lake, the ripples are going to be big and there's going to be multiples of them. If I throw a little tiny rock into the pool, there's just one little ripple that goes out. And yes, it still goes to the shores. Both go to the shores, but the big rock has an echoing effect, a deeper effect. So the reason that you have challenges creating your lasting income is simply because you're doing too much shallow work. You haven't found a way to eliminate the distractions. Turn your phone off when you do your gratitude journaling. Turn off whatever it is, put it in airplane mode, put it in spaceship mode. I don't care what mode you put it in. If you want to pursue better, you have to, it's critical to eliminate the distraction, because one distraction is 20 minutes to get back on track. Now, here's where I'm going to go off topic for just a little bit. How many of you have heard of intermittent fasting? Right? You've heard of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting means that your body needs to be in a fast mode, a non-digesting mode, a non-metabolic mode for X number of hours in order for the fasting to kick in order for the transition. Y'all following me? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're following me. So when you go into intermittent fasting, your body needs a certain amount of time in order for it to activate the body going, oh, we don't have food. Okay, let's go do this. Let's go use that. Let's change this, because there's not this onslaught of stuff going on in the body. Y'all follow me? So if intermittent fasting means that it's actually intermittent eating, what would intermittent fasting be for you in TikTok? What would intermittent fasting, could you go off of it for 24 hours? Oh my God, no. See, that's called addiction. You'll follow me? So what would be the intermittent fasting that would allow you to avoid the distractions? Because here's what happens. Listen, I've got an 18-year-old. He's 18, right? Yeah. I got an 18-year-old. Mason Andrew. I can only imagine my parents, but we didn't grow up with a phone. Could you imagine he's one of those kids that wouldn't know life without a cell phone? He doesn't know any time without the internet. He's never opened up a newspaper. My point is that there's such an addiction. How many of you know that doctors are now talking about that because their necks are like this all the time? There's stuff going on. There's stuff going on with their head up here, their neck up here. How many of you know that? Drop an N in the chat if you know there's stuff going on with the neck because their heads are always down. I take away the phone from him. I'm still his father. He's here. He's under my roof. I take him outside. I take away his phone. I don't take away his phone. I take him outside to do tasks. And I watch his body morph. I watch his body shift and change as it goes through the withdrawals of not having that stimuli. Now, granted, there's other wonderful natural stimuli going on, the pond, the chainsaw, the four-wheeler, shoveling stone, whatever it is, there's other stimuli. It is a different neural pattern. So I'm going to ask you, if you want to truly create your goals, if you truly want to write out your goals, how many of you heard write out your goals on a daily basis? Well, that's what addictions say. Yes, I leave my phone home sometimes to just break my addiction. Don't leave it, just give it away. Because you're going to go back to it. That's the thing. Well, how do we shift it from being an addiction to saying, well, I'm not, right? How many addicts do we know that I can get clean anytime? I can get clean anytime. Anytime I want to get clean, I can get clean. We've all heard that. Drop a C in the chat if you know any friends who have ever said that. I can get clean at any time I want. And they don't, because the addiction is so strong. So they step away from it and they look at it and everybody goes, oh, wow, they're free of addiction. That's so cool. That's so awesome. They're free of addiction. How awesome is that? But it doesn't last but a day. And you're like, oh my God, I had such hope for them. How many of you are the same way when it comes to your goals, doing your daily tasks? Follow me? So one is remove the challenges. And the other big challenges is a lot of times people lose their way. You can give it a whole bunch of different names, but they lose their way. They're not on their path, and they become less happy when they're not on their path. Well, how were you happy, and then not happy, and then happy again, and then not happy? It's because of your thoughts. That's all it is. It's because of your thoughts. And how do you change your thoughts? How many of you would like to know instantly how to change your thoughts? Instantly can put control back over your thoughts. You get up and you move. You put on music and you move. You put on music and you move. You move your body. The second you start to move your body, you create a new level of magnetism. You create a new level of awareness. You create a new level of activity in your body that changes it. There's not a whole lot of dancing, depressed people. There's people who, when they stop, go back into that mode, right? You look at somebody like Robin Williams, any of these greats. Chef Bourdain, not Chef Boyardee, Chef Bourdain. And you look at these people, when they're in their service, they're of the highest level. But because they don't have a way to control themselves to activate that when they're quiet, when they're alone, they wind up going down too. They don't have a community of individuals that they can count on. And everybody assumes. How many people, listen carefully, how many people in your world assume you're on track for your goals? Think about that for just a second. How many people in your world assume you are on track for your goals? And you know you're not. You know you've slipped already. It's day 3. But here's the thing. This is the principle of Kaizen, and it works in positive and it works in the negative way. 1% of improvement on a daily basis is the principle of Kaizen. And I'm going to make this up. That's not here. So nobody give me a royalty claim or anything like that. Then there's Crapzon. There's Kaizen and there's Crapzon. Crapzon is where you go 1% down every day. It's still 1%. Nobody really notices it. It's Kaizen, I'm getting better, or it's Crapzon, I'm getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the best way to do that is to eliminate distractions. Remove distractions. It can be hard to focus. If you have a lot of distractions around you, consider removing distractions such as social media, emails, while you work on your goals. Here's number 5. This is a hard one. It's easy to do, also easy not to do. Here's a hard one. Find an accountability partner. Find an accountability partner. Having someone hold you accountable. They don't need to, listen, here's the hard part. Listen carefully. If you are asked to be an accountability partner, you are not their coach. Too many people are in the same pit of despair and anger, anguish and agony and frustration. And they say, can you hold me accountable to elevate myself? Yes, I can hold you accountable. I will teach you. No, that's not what they're asking for. That's why nobody wants an accountability partner, because they're going to be taught. Everybody thinks if I'm your accountability partner, I need to be your mentor and coach. You can't find your own ass with a map and a flashlight. You cannot coach somebody out of the same hole you're in. You can't. It's impossible. 98% of the population prove it's impossible. Why? Because 98% of the population, their income is equal to the top 2%. There's something wrong with the model of the DIY method, of the mentoring method, where they're not even mentors. When you ask for somebody to hold you accountable, all you want to do is have to report back to them, did I do my 5 tasks today? And the accountability partner says, well, if you didn't, you got to go do X. What's your pain? What's your pain? See, Tony Robbins teaches there needs to be massive, immediate pain. associated with you not doing your tasks. Too many of us don't want that. Too many of us, listen, if you get hired, if you hire me as your mentor on a monthly basis, the first 60 days, 90 days is probably worse than any drug treatment you've ever been through. It is killer. It is crushing to create freedom. I understand the brain. I understand the mind. I understand your resistance. I understand how you think you're sliding something in. I can't get up at that time. I had a No, not for the first 90 days. First 90 days, it is drill sergeant, SEAL camp, Navy SEAL. It is ruthless. Why? Because we got to break your addictions. Some of you have had your addictions for 20 years and you want me to fix it in a year. You give me 30 days, you won't recognize the rest of your life. I promise you. I guarantee it. I promise you. I've done this for 40 years. The challenge is that you will be held accountable to your task, not to my tasks, your tasks. You outline them. All I'm here is to understand how the neuroencoding and the addiction to approval and the lack of mental toughness and how your brain has been wired to unlock all of that. Dickens process daily. Yeah. Listen, it's only the Dickens process until it turns into the end of the movie process. The happiness and joy until the 3 nights are over. So number 5, that's number 5. Number 6, here's the hard part. Listen, you thought number 5 was hard, find an accountability partner. This one is even tougher. This one is even more difficult. This one is even 10, I would say this one is 10 times harder than holding yourself accountable to somebody else. Anybody want to guess what it is? You'll be shocked at what it is. Anybody want to guess what it is? Type it in the chat. What do you think number 6 is of one of the most difficult, the most absolutely all-consuming solution to everything is number 6. If you did number 6 on a daily basis, if you did number 6 on an hourly basis, according to your movement, according to your accountability, according to your function, you would have your life you wouldn't need me. I promise you wouldn't need me. But because number 6 is what it is, you have to rewire yourself. You have to go through an unwire, a rewire, and a new wire. Number 6 is reward yourself. You should give gratitude throughout the whole thing. Gratitude is not the same as rewarding yourself. Giving yourself a physical reward could be, listen, every morning when I wake up and I put my keto cream in my coffee and I get my MCT oil that actually gives my brain an unfair advantage over yours. MCT oil, you may want to write that down. MCT oil. And I give my brain an unfair advantage in the competitive world. My brain operates significantly better than most because I feed my brain. It's not that my brain is smarter. It operates faster. I can solve problems quicker. See, I'm prepared to provide the solutions to the unknown. I reward myself every morning. After I do my meditation, I do some physical activity and I do a cold activity. Then I reward myself because I'm in charge of my body. And when I am in charge of my body, that takes a lot for me. I have an addictive personality. So there's the 6 things. So let me review them for anybody who showed up recently. Get a specific date and achievable goals. Right? Can you achieve these goals by this specific date, and are they achievable in that time frame? Probably are. So the next thing is break it down, chunk it down, break it down into smaller things. If it's a year-long goal, great, break it down into 52 weeks. If it's a 6-month-long goal, break it down into 6 times 4, 24 weeks. If it's a 30-day goal, break it down into about 15 every other day. Are you checking in? Check the calendar, right? Check the gas gauge. Could you imagine if you put a sticker over your gas gauge and you never knew how much gas you had in it? You're always checking the gas. I've run out of gas. Have you ever run out of gas? Drop a G in the chat if you've ever run out of gas in your car. And maybe the gas gauge was broken. But if you've ever run out of gas, man, that just sucks. Doesn't that suck? Could you imagine running out of gas on your goals? Yeah, I've been doing that for 20 years. Could you imagine running out of gas for the next 20 years? And you're in the same damn spot as you were today, 20 years later? It just looks different. Now you complain about flying cars instead of fancy cars. Just saying. So number two was break it down into chunks. Number 3, establish a daily routine. If you listen to Ed Mylott or any of these people, they talk about their morning routine. They get up, they meditate for 2 hours. 2 hours? I don't have 2 hours. I don't sleep enough. Well, see, you got a problem. You have an addiction problem. If you can't sleep well, you got an addiction problem because you have wired your brain so that you're not good enough. You go to sleep exhausted. You go to sleep thinking you didn't get enough done. You wake up exhausted. You didn't get enough sleep, and you start the day and you're already behind the 8 ball wondering, how the hell am I going to make it through the day? Drop an 8 in the chat if that's you. You go to sleep. You're getting ready to go to sleep knowing, I didn't get it all done. I didn't get it done. How am I supposed to go to sleep? I can't get it done. And your brain runs. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and you didn't get a good night's sleep. So now you're exhausted and you start the day already behind the 8 ball. So establish your daily routine. Work on that. This is why you need a mentor, not a coach. You need a mentor, not a coach. Remove distractions. Number 4, remove distractions. 1, specific date and achievable goals. 2, break it down, chunk it down into bite-sized bits. Number 3, establish a daily routine. 4, remove distractions. If you got to get something done, you're going to have to learn how to say no. You want to go for success? Say no 500 times a day to the things that don't serve you. We talk about it right? Somebody wrote a great book, Go for No. That's challenging if you're going out and building your spirit. The challenge is why don't you start with go for no on your own workouts, on your own decisions, on your own beliefs, on your own goal setting. Just say no to all of the crap that distracts you. Don't do Kaizen. Stop doing crapazon where you're getting 1% worse every day. Go do Kaizen, 1% better every day. There's no such thing for those of you that recently joined us, crapzon. I just made that up. Number 5, find an accountability partner. An accountability partner who holds you accountable, not a coach. Listen, will you be my accountability partner? Yes, I'll be your accountability partner. What do you want me to teach you on? No, that's not what they asked you for. Accountability partner. I'm going to do this, and this. Great. Here's how you become a good accountability partner. If you do it, awesome. What's your reward? Because that's number 6. What's your reward for doing that? Oh, I'm going to go take a 90-minute massage. It's $200 because you didn't scroll TikTok. That's not a valuable. That you'll go broke. The reward has to be equivalent to the achievement. Stop scrolling, big thing, not a 90-minute massage. Maybe a latte at Starbucks for $6. I don't know if you drink coffee. If not, maybe it's a single scoop of double Dutch chocolate at Baskin Robbins, one of their 32 flavors. You follow me? So find an accountability partner. And if you are asked to be accountability partner, do not train them. Do not teach them. You can't. Not accountability partners do not teach, do not train. They want to hire you as a coach or mentor, great, do that. But an accountability partner is different. And then number 6, reward yourself. What's your big reward for when you get done? What's the reward you're going to give your kids when you are able to go spend an hour without them nagging at you? That's not nagging. I get it. They're not nagging. But when you're trying to get your stuff done and you can't, and then you can't get your stuff done and you go back and you're like, I didn't get anything done. I had to take care of my kids. I had to be a good mom. And then you start that BS belief system that I'm not a good mom if I don't take care of my kids. Listen, if you want to take care of your kids, get your ass in gear, find an accountability partner, set your goals, do your daily activity, set your daily routine, and find your reward. Do you want to be a better mom? Start being rich and get over this pain syndrome that everybody has put you in. You are allowed to be successful. You don't have to go be so beautiful and bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. Give some discipline. Give some, what do you call it when you share the wealth? Oh, not this. When you, I can't even think of the word. It'll come to me in a second. When you, I don't know if it begins with a D. I'm stuck on this. It begins with a D. When you give other people tasks to do. Anyways, it'll come to me in a second. Delegate. There it is, Nadine. Nadine in the house. Delegate. Nadine wins a super special surprise. Hello, Nadine. She gets to get on her Peloton and shake her booty. Do, do, do. So there you go. Does that help? Was that valuable? Could you tag somebody in this that you would think they would want to see this again? Tag somebody in it. I'm going to ask you to tag somebody. I want you to build my organization. I want you to build my community. If I'm valuable to you, I'm sure birds of a feather flock together. There's some people in your community that would be valuable, that would see this as valuable as well. There you go. Instagram, I love you tons. I went just a little bit over. I love you tons. I appreciate you so very much. Have an incredible, incredible, valuable day. I am your head goal setting, goal achieving misfit trainer and mentor. I'll see y'all where? I'll see you at the next event. Till then, bye for now. And YouTube, I love you tons. I appreciate you. Where is my, there it is over here. Have an incredible, absolutely fantabulous day. I will see you all where? At the next event. Till then.